faculty is the coordinating entity in the school. So the contribution is both one, the administrative. We handled the administrative bit, the approval process, ensuring that things are in order. That's why it's from this faculty that we nominated the project coordinator, Dr. Sylvia Arakit.
That is quite very interesting, and I guess that is what the project has been exactly trying to unfold or uncover. In the Ugandan context, we try to investigate what kind of opportunities exist, both at mapping level and also at the baseline level. And quite a number of opportunities were presented, but I'll just talk about 3 of them. And the first one is the issue of the growing demand for these clean energy technologies. As a business person, for women and youth who are leading these clean energy enterprises, it's very important that they have a market. And through our investigation, we realized that there is some growth in terms of demand for these products. If you compare it back to 5 years before, we had a very, I think, 0.something proportion of the people who were using these clean energy technologies. And today we are seeing about 3.8. That gives us a trend that there is a growing demand, which is an opportunity for entrepreneurs to actually leverage. But also besides that, we noticed that, at a community level, people are organizing and trying to get, financing based on their small group savings. Financing is a big challenge for these clean energy enterprises. But again, through these informal savings, it's presenting them with an opportunity to actually be able to access not sufficient capital, but patient capital to allow them invest and scale their businesses. The challenge is that it's small. So when you talk about scalability, still becomes difficult, but it's an opportunity. And besides that, we also have digital platforms that I imagine that actually present an opportunity for these entrepreneurs to be able to market their products digitally. Whether they have skills or not, or they have the tech, that's a different story. But there is an opportunity for them to actually market and present their products across the public and across the borders.
I must say that the approach that we undertook for Uganda's case is interesting in a way that we needed to first know what exists in Uganda. You can't tell what is not there if you know what is there. So our approach was that we first had to do a synthesis to try to know what exists in as far as the main objective of this project is concerned. Of course, the idea was to try to find out the best practices. So before you think about the best practices, you need to know what exists, and for us, that was our approach. So after knowing what exists, then we're able to identify what is missing, and that informed our ideas. What kind of research data do we need, and what kind of, in the end, when we synthesize that data, what kind of implications can we derive from that? Yeah.
Regarding the local partnerships, initially when the project came in, it was to be implemented by MOBs. But we also appreciate the fact that within the ecosystem we have very many players, and as a project, we reached out to different players. For example, government through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, which is the key policy maker in the space. We have been in touch with them, and they have supported us by giving a window to provide information. They have given us information, and that information is critical because it will also help us feed into the policy. So as on the side of government, they have supported the project by giving information regarding the policy landscape that also informed our study. Okay, so before we went to the field, we needed also to speak to the government to hear their perspectives and their understanding of this. And I'm happy that we went to the ministry and we met a senior energy officer in charge of the clean cooking unit, and she gave us quite a lot of insightful information about the government plans, about what government is doing, and they supported the project in one way or the other. When it comes to the private sector, definitely very supportive, because the study was targeting private sector. The study was targeting private sector, the entrepreneurs. And these entrepreneurs were very handy and willing to give information. Very willing, so we reached out to so many enterprises. We also reached out to key informants in the private sector space, and they also gave information. That is support enough for us. So they were able, but definitely in terms of the ecosystem, besides the project, in terms of the ecosystem, the private sector, is engaged in so many things, including financing. We also spoke to, these other people that give development, or capacity development, skilling and training in renewable energy and clean energy space, and that was Sandea. Sandea is a private sector organization. They are entrepreneurs in the sector, but for them they are focusing on training and skilling, and we got quite a lot of information, and they were also present in the validation workshop and they participated. We also talked to hubs, incubation hubs. They are within the private sector and they are supporting entrepreneurs, and they gave us quite. So in terms of support and partnerships, as an institution, we had a mandate to implement this project, but we couldn't do it alone. So we had to invoke the willingness of the ministry. We worked with the National Renewable Energy Platform, which is like an ACA kind of association for whoever is in the sector. So NREP, the one that hosted the conference, we worked with the chair. He linked us to the entrepreneurs. He linked us to the developmental partners. He linked us to the financing institution. He actually handheld and called, Dr. Sylvia, you wanted data. Please come to Protea. We have the stakeholders here, and you can talk to whoever you are. I'll just introduce you to them. So he would literally support in terms of, getting the right people to talk to.
When you look at the progress in clean energy in Uganda, it's commendable. But specifically looking at what this project is doing, is helping us to see what women are doing and then trying to see where they are in the value chain. Now that's very important. Why? Because when we know what women are doing, then we are able to design policies that affect them positively. So what we can term as success in Uganda is if we are able to identify these women that are involved in these projects, in this entrepreneurship, if we are able to identify the youth that are involved in this, then the other component of this project is incubation. So once we identify these people and incubate them, number one, they pick the ideas that they are going to be trained on, then they are going to improve on their businesses. If they improve on their businesses, then their income is going to improve. If the income of these women improves, then their lives are going to improve. And if their lives improve, then those people who associate with them, their families are also going to be the beneficiaries of this. So I think success in this case is so much into how will the lives of these people who are participating in this clean entrepreneurship, how does it bring about progress? It's that progress that has a reciprocal effect, and in the end we think that a series of people will benefit from this activity.
Clean energy is an interesting area. It solves the issue of unemployment to a country level. If people can do their own businesses through those charcoal, the clean energy technologies, I think it can earn them money rather than waiting for these white-collar jobs, which are few, because government has no jobs to give to its population. So it's through this, the clean energy can also be an alternative solution to unemployment in this country.